Right friends, welcome back to 19th week question and answer session from 4th May to 10th May. Let us discuss around 30 questions in part 1 and 30 questions in part 2. Let us look at the first question, Floyd Mayweather. Last week we have seen the biggest fight of the century, touted to be the biggest fight of the century between Floyd Mayweather and Manny Pacquiao. Floyd Mayweather is of United States of America and Manny Pacquiao belongs to Philippines. There was a big fight and Floyd Mayweather defeated Pacquiao of Philippines, and Floyd Mayweather has got 48 victories. 48-0 is his record. But remember, 49 victories, that means without any defeat. 49-0 record is held by Rocky Marciano of United States of America. Rocky Marciano of United States of America holds the record for 49 wins without any loss. That means his record is 49-0. Now Floyd Mayweather's record is 48-0. Both belong to United States of America, and Floyd Mayweather last week stated that he will retire after equalizing the record of Rocky Marciano. Please don't forget, Rocky Marciano and Floyd Mayweather both belong to United States of America. Please look into the next question. The Maharashtra Bhushan Award to Baba Saheb Purandare created controversy in Maharashtra. What is this award? Maharashtra Bhushan Award is the highest civilian award in Maharashtra, carrying a cash prize of ₹5 lakhs. Recently, Maharashtra government gave award to Baba Saheb Purandare. Baba Saheb Purandare is a historian and authority on studies pertaining to Shivaji. And authority on studies pertaining to Shivaji, but Sambhaji Brigade, an organization, created controversy that the historian's version of Shivaji is not authentic as raised by Sambhaji Brigade, and that created controversy. Anyhow, Maharashtra Bhushan Award was given to Baba Saheb Purandare, the authority on studies pertaining to Shivaji. Right? Please look into the next issue. Recently, an exhibition was held that is depicting caricatures of Prophet Muhammad resulted in attack by gunmen. Recently, an exhibition was held with regard to caricatures of Prophet Muhammad. We all very well know Charlie Hebdo is famous. Charlie Hebdo is a French satirical magazine. It is famous for caricatures on Prophet Muhammad and other religious practices. And recently an exhibition was held and firing took place outside that exhibition, and the country we are talking about is United States of America, a place called Garland in Texas state of United States of America. Let me explain once again. In United States of America, in a state called Texas, place called Garland in Texas state, recently an exhibition was conducted on caricatures of Prophet Muhammad and firing took place outside this exhibition center. Right? Please look into the next one. NPPA asked all pharmaceutical firms to register themselves with integrated pharmaceutical database management system. This NPPA is National Pharmaceutical Pricing Authority. Please don't forget, NPPA is the National Pharmaceutical Pricing Authority, which looks into the pricing of various pharmaceuticals, and recently they started maintaining an integrated database. It advised all the pharmaceutical firms to register with Integrated Pharmaceutical Database Management System, and otherwise known as IPDMS. And NPPA stands for National Pharmaceutical Pricing Authority. In India, please don't forget two things. One is the National Pharmaceutical Pricing Authority, which looks into prices of various medicines or pharmaceutical pricing. Similarly, Commission for Agricultural Costs and Prices, Commission for Agricultural Costs and Prices, otherwise known as CACP, Commission for Agricultural Costs and Prices, recommends a minimum support price for various crops. Please don't forget, look into the next issue. During 2014-15, gold imports surged by 19.5% to reach $34.32 billion. Our main purpose is to reduce imports, because our imports are more, exports are less. Our imports are around $460 billion. Our imports are around $460 billion. I am not telling the exact figures, I am just looking at these things roughly. Our total imports are around $460 billion. Total exports are around $310 billion. There is a gap of around $150 billion. This is known as a trade deficit. There is a gap of $150 billion between imports and exports, which is popularly known as trade deficit. Any government's intention is to reduce the trade deficit. Reducing the trade deficit is the primary goal of any government. To reduce trade deficit, either we have to increase exports, or we have to reduce imports. Let me tell you once again, to reduce the trade deficit, we have to either increase exports or we have to reduce imports. But increasing exports is not that easy task. In fact, last year there was a decrease in exports by around 1%. They are not increasing. At the same time, it is not possible to reduce all types of imports. We can only reduce non-essential imports. Gold comes under non-essential imports. Petroleum products are essential imports. Gold is non-essential import. Government's intention is to reduce the non-essential imports. With that in view, around 1.5 years back, government brought some restrictions on the import of gold. Subsequently, last year, government removed those restrictions. That rule was popularly known as 80-20 rule. Last year, they were around $35 billion and 19% increase in comparison to previous year. Government's intention is reducing imports, but non-essential import like gold is on increase. And please don't forget, India is the largest consumer of gold in the world, closely followed by China. And India gold consumption every year is roughly 900 tons. The gold consumption in India is roughly 900 tons, and please calculate the value. You all very well know the cost per gram of gold is around 2600 rupees, and multiply it with the 900 tons, you will get the mind-boggling value of gold which we are consuming every year. Most of this gold is consumed by Indian women households. Right friends, look into the next issue. Name the social networking site which decided to throw open internet.org platform to all content and application developers who meet certain guidelines. Facebook, in association with the Reliance Communications, recently launched internet.org. internet.org is the platform any developer can join, and the viewers will have free access to the sites. Viewers will have free access to the sites, and there is a point and counterpoint in this. Lot of debate going on net neutrality. The point here is, poor man can access internet. Poor man can access internet. But the counterpoint or disadvantage here is, once these free platforms take off, then these companies can prioritize certain websites. The positive point here is, poor can have access to internet. The negative point here is, there is every possibility that these service providers may prioritize certain websites, because of which the neutrality of net is lost. There is a lot of debate going on in this country. Under these circumstances, Facebook launched internet.org with Reliance Communications. Right friends, let us move on to the next question. Before visit to China, the Prime Minister of India opened an account on Chinese microblogging site. Name the site. The Prime Minister opened an account with China's microblogging site, which is known as Sina Weibo. Sina Weibo is China's equivalent of Twitter. China's equivalent of Twitter is Sina Weibo. Before the Prime Minister's visit, he opened an account on this Chinese microblogging site, and please don't forget, the Prime Minister is going to visit 3 countries, China, Mongolia and South Korea, starting from 14th of May. Right friends, looking into the next question. Name the state where there is an outcry over the teenage girl who was molested and pushed to death from a moving bus. There was an unfortunate incident last week when a teenage girl along with her mother were thrown out of the bus, and the girl subsequently died. This occurred in Moga district of Punjab. Look into the next question. Name the state where Inspector General of Police T.J. Jose was caught copying in LLM examination. An IPS officer, Inspector General of Police in Kerala, was caught copying in LLM examination. Please look into the next one. Rotavirus vaccine was developed with the assistance of a non-governmental organization. Rotavirus vaccine. What is rotavirus vaccine? Rotavirus causes diarrhea in infants. Rotavirus causes diarrhea in infants. Every year, around 5 lakh people lose their lives. Every year, 5 lakh deaths are being caused because of diarrhea caused by rotavirus, and recently this rotavirus vaccine was developed in India with the assistance of a non-government organization, that is Bill and Melinda Gates Foundation. With the assistance of Bill and Melinda Gates Foundation, this rotavirus vaccine was developed in India. Right? CCI recently stated that there is a prima facie evidence of predatory pricing of app-based radio taxi operator. Name the operator. Here I would like to tell you 2-3 things. What is app-based radio taxi operator? You can book a taxi with the mobile application or mobile app. Recently, Ola Cabs as well as other cab operators in the country developed their own apps, and anyone can book a taxi through mobile application. And second thing is, what is the predatory pricing? Predatory pricing is nothing but reducing the prices to such a low level predatory pricing is nothing but reducing the prices to such a low level so as to eliminate competition. That means all other operators will go out of business and subsequently this firm will have monopoly. That is known as predatory pricing. I am not talking about one particular incident. I am just explaining you what is predatory pricing. Predatory pricing is reducing prices to such a low level that all the other firms will go out of business and subsequently the firm which reduced the rates to such a low level will have monopoly and they will increase subsequently. Predatory pricing is that. What is CCI? CCI is Competition Commission of India, which was started in the year 2003, which will have chairman and 6 members. Started in the year 2003, it looks at the competition, fair competition among the market players. It looks at the fair competition among the market players. I will tell you one example. In India, 2 largest telecom operators are Airtel and Vodafone. If both of them decided to merge, what will happen? There will be virtual monopoly in the telecom sector. When such things happens, CCI will come into picture. CCI or Competition Commission of India will look into the fair competition issues. Having heard this explanation, please understand this question. Competition Commission of India stated that there is recently a prima facie evidence of predatory pricing of application based radio taxi operator. The operator is Ola Cabs. CCI stated that they will inquire into this case. So please don't forget what is meant by predatory pricing and what are the duties of Competition Commission of India. Right friends, look into the next one. Freedom of Expression Courage Award was given to French satirical magazine Charlie Hebdo. There was a lot of controversy because Charlie Hebdo is involved in the caricatures of Prophet Muhammad. Some of the writers expressed their concern on giving this award to Charlie Hebdo, Freedom of Expression Courage Award. This award was given by PEN. Right? PEN is the Association of Writers across the world and PEN gave this award to Charlie Hebdo. Please look into the next one. At present, the maximum punishment for child who commits any crime under Juvenile Justice Act 2000 is 3 years. Under Juvenile Justice Act, any crime committed by the person up to the age of 18 years, the maximum punishment shall not exceed 3 years. Whatever the type of crime is, whether it may be murder or some other serious offense, but the punishment should not exceed 3 years. And recently, government came up with amendment to this Juvenile Justice Act that when a person commits a heinous crime like murder or rape in the age group of 16 to 18 years, he should be convicted as adults. That bill was passed by Lok Sabha and is about to be placed in Rajya Sabha. Till date, as per the Juvenile Justice Act, the maximum punishment is 3 years. Right friends? Juvenile Justice Act is applicable up to children in the age group of 18 years. Look into the next one. As a backbone to digital classrooms and virtual learning, name the software major which launched EDU-CLOUD in India. EDU-CLOUD, cloud-based education. There will not be any textbooks, there will not be any notes. It will be cloud-based education, and recently Microsoft stated that they are starting cloud-based education in India with the partnership of one particular group of schools, and they are going to start first in Hyderabad and Bangalore. And the firm here is Microsoft. Microsoft stated that they are starting cloud-based education in India, and the name given is EDU-CLOUD. Right friends, look into the next one. Name the country whose Reserve Bank cut the benchmark interest rates to record low of 2%. Advanced economies are reducing interest rates because they want growth. GDP is not growing on expected lines in advanced economies, and for that purpose several advanced economies and several central banks are reducing benchmark interest rates so as to infuse liquidity into the system. And here the answer is Australia. Look into the next one. Name the country where the United Nations is planning to resume peace talks. Syria is into civil war. Since 2011, there are several groups in Syria. One is supported by the government. Government controls around 40 to 50% of the geographical area in Syria. Other group is ISIS. ISIS is controlling parts of Syria, northeastern part. Some part is controlled by Free Syrian Army. Like that, groups are controlling parts of Syria. Syria is into civil war. There is a displacement of several persons. Several persons migrated to other countries as refugees. And there are several internally displaced persons. What is the difference between refugees and internally displaced persons? When a person displaces from his homeland, please remember, when a person displaces from his homeland and migrates to other countries, he is a refugee. And internally, if a person is displaced and migrated to some other place in the same country, he is known as internally displaced person. In India, Kashmiri Pandits are internally displaced persons. They migrated from Kashmir and staying in other parts of the country. So they are called internally displaced persons. But here, several Syrian people left to other countries like Turkey, Lebanon and other European countries, and these are called refugees. Syria is into serious civil war and United Nations is going to resume peace talks in Syria. Please look into the next one. Victory in Europe Day is being celebrated every year. This year is the 70th. This was the day in 1945 when Winston Churchill announced that war with Germany was over. What is the date? 8th May is the Victory in Europe Day. 8th May is the Victory in Europe Day, and this year it completed the 70 years. The war came to an end in the year 1945 on 8th May when Germany surrendered to the Allied forces. That was on 8th May 1945. And almost a week prior to that, Adolf Hitler of Germany committed suicide. And almost a week prior to that, Adolf Hitler committed suicide. So, this day, 8th May, is celebrated every year as Victory in Europe Day. And Russia celebrates this on 9th May because of a time difference in time zones. 8th May is celebrated in Europe except Russia. Russia celebrates on 9th May. Right friends, look into the next issue. India's military spend is about 1.8% of its GDP. In the gross domestic product, we are spending 1.8% for defense purposes, for military purposes. We are spending 1.8% of our GDP. Right friends, look into the next one. Rubber industry is crying foul about inverted duty structure after India raised import duty on rubber from 20% to 25%. Recently, there is a crisis in the domestic rubber industry, and Government of India increased the import duty on rubber from 20% to 25%. What is import duty? When something is imported into our country, duty will be imposed. It all depends on the domestic scenario. Sometimes the import duty may be less, sometimes the import duty is more. The biggest concern for the government is to protect the domestic industry. Keeping that in mind, recently this Government of India increased import duty on rubber from 20% to 25%. Then let us look at other issue. What is inverted duty structure? Inverted duty structure is when the import duty on raw materials is more than the import duty on the finished product. It is known as inverted duty structure. When the import duty on raw material is more in comparison to the import duty on the finished product, it is known as inverted duty structure. Regarding this, we will deliberate in some other class. Right, friends? Industrial giant Siemens announced that it will cut 4,500 jobs or 1% of its global workforce. Name the country where this giant is headquartered. Siemens is the giant, multinational giant, famous for their medical equipment, precision equipment, which is basically used in medical industry. This is headquartered in Germany. Its headquarters in Berlin as well as Munich. So Siemens is German-based company known for its precision, right, friends? When President Pierre Nkurunziza revealed his plans to contest for the third time, violence broke out in the country. President Pierre Nkurunziza, he is the president from the year 2005. For the past 10 years, he is the president. The country is Burundi, and recently when the president stated that he will contest for the third time, there is violence. This country, Burundi, came out of civil war in the year 2005, and again there is eruption of violence in this country. Right? Please look into the next issue. Global carbon dioxide emissions reached new monthly record of dash parts per million. This carbon dioxide emissions are increasing in alarming pace. Pre-industrial levels, probably in the year 1800. Normally, industries started from the year 1800. Industrialization across the world, especially in developed countries like England, started after 1800 on massive scale. So, pre-industrial levels, if you say, they belongs to around 1800. Around 1800, the carbon dioxide levels were 280 parts per million. And subsequent to industrialization, because of release of carbon dioxide into the atmosphere, because of burning of fossil fuels, the carbon dioxide levels in the atmosphere are increasing, and last month they were recorded as 400 parts per million. 400 parts per million. It sent alarming signals across the world. Please look into the next one. Russian spacecraft M27M carrying food, water, fuel, oxygen to International Space Station disintegrated as it reached the Earth's atmosphere. This spacecraft was launched from Kazakhstan. This spacecraft belongs to Russia, but it was launched from Kazakhstan, and it was supposed to take food, oxygen, fuel to the International Space Station, but because of fault in launching by Soyuz rocket, it collapsed in between. That means during the collapse, when it came into the Earth's atmosphere, while falling back, when it came into the Earth's atmosphere, it disintegrated, and parts of it or pieces of it fallen into Pacific Ocean. This spacecraft M27M belongs to Russia, launched from Kazakhstan. It was taking or it was supposed to take food and fuel to International Space Station. International Space Station is launched in low Earth orbit and 6 people are there at present in International Space Station, 3 Russians, 2 Americans and 1 person from Italy. Right? Please look into the next one. Northeastern provincial capital Kunduz is into turmoil as militants blocked supply routes to the city. This Kunduz city is in the northeastern province of Afghanistan. Recently, Taliban blocked the supply routes and people are suffering, and Kunduz city, the supplies were blocked by Taliban, and this Kunduz is in northeastern part of Afghanistan. Please look into the next one. Name the country where mass graves were found, probably pointing to the suspected links to human traffickers. Mass graves were found in Thailand, and there was big smuggling racket, and humans, especially Rohingyas from Myanmar, are migrating on mass scale because of civil disturbances against that community in Myanmar. These Rohingyas are Muslim community people. They are from Myanmar, and a large scale migration is taking place through smugglers to Thailand, and recently mass graves were found in Thailand. Right? And these things are linked to the smuggling racket going on from Myanmar. Please look into the next one. Recently, one athlete was killed herself, very unfortunate event, in Sports Authority of India hostel by consuming Othalanga. Othalanga, known as Cerbera Odollam. 4 girls consumed these Othalanga seeds, and out of which 1 died, and the state is Kerala. Sports Authority of India hostel situated near Alappuzha in Kerala. Please look into the next one. After more than 50 years, a ferry service is going to be started between Florida in United States and Cuba. Between Florida and Cuba, ferry service is going to be started after 50 years, and we have learned in previous classes that US and Cuba are going to normalize their relations, and in this connection a ferry service between Florida in United States and Cuba is going to be started shortly. Right friends? At present, it is mandatory to make minimum investment of 30% in India, where foreign firms get orders for supply of defense equipment to India. Most of our supply of defense equipment, around 70 to 80%, comes from foreign land, and when some firm is supplying foreign equipment worth 300 crores or more, when a firm is supplying some defense equipment worth 300 crores or more, they are required to invest 30% of its cost in India. When a firm is supplying defense equipment with a cost of rupees 300 crore or more, they are required to invest 30% of its value in India so as to promote domestic manufacturing. That clause is known as offset clause. Please don't forget offset clause. Please look into the next question. Government stated that they will refer the matter with regard to the imposition of minimum alternate tax on foreign institutional investors to the committee headed by Justice A.P. Shah. There was a lot of hue and cry when government imposed minimum alternate tax on foreign institutional investors. There was a stock market crash because of that. Subsequently, Finance Minister made a statement in Parliament that a committee will be nominated to inquire into various issues relating to minimum alternate tax 2 foreign institutional investors, and the committee is going to be headed by Justice A.P. Shah, Chairman of 20th Law Commission. Please look into the last question of this part. Government recently introduced a bill in Parliament to amend the Negotiable Instrument Act. Negotiable Instrument Act belongs to 1881. Once this is passed, in the case of check bouncing, payee can approach court where the territorial jurisdiction of the branch of payee is situated. This is with regard to checks. If I am staying in Delhi, I am issuing a check to my friend in Kolkata. If I am issuing a check to my friend staying in Kolkata, I am staying in Delhi, I am the drawer of the check, and my friend in Kolkata will be the payee. And once this bill is passed, if that check bounces, my friend can approach Kolkata court. That means the court situated in payee's jurisdiction. With this, we will conclude this question and answer session part 1 for 19th week. Please do join for part 2. Have a nice day. Thank you.